A ship in harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. When I read that quote that morning, something clicked in me, and I was able to tap back into what I had decided for myself before shit had hit the fan. Welcome to the Introverted Influencer Podcast. I'm your host, Erica Van Slyke. My soul's mission on this planet is to help fellow introverts grow their online influence in a state of feminine flow and ease. While battling the woes of depression, anxiety, and even mom guilt, I've somehow managed to build a six-figure blog without the use of social media and without sacrificing my mental health. If I can do it, you can too. Well, hello there, beautiful. Welcome back to another episode of the Introverted Influencer Podcast. If you are still following along after, I feel like I've kind of had a series of episodes that have really shown the more challenging side of what it's like to be your own boss and live a life that is not always predictable, but it is rewarding. It's what growth is. I started to reflect on the past episodes. I'm just trying to basically, every time I sit down to record, I want to make sure that I am sharing a piece of my soul and what I am learning in the current moment. And it's been a rough year for me. I hate the fact that I couldn't have started this podcast earlier, years ago, when everything was on the up and up. If you listen to last week's episode, it was really, it was me kind of going off about how I think it's so deceiving how so many money coaches, entrepreneurial coaches, and influencers only show you their wins and the upside, and this idea that it is just success after success. And the better it gets, the better it gets, the better it gets, the more money you make, the more money you make, the more followers, the more subscribers, even the more confidence you have in yourself. And somehow all of your imposter syndrome like totally diminishes. You just kind of arrive to this pretty little place in life. You get to sit pretty and it's all rainbows and butterflies. That's just what I'm learning in real time. That is a load of shit. By being really candid with you about what I've gone through, I don't want you to shy away from taking a risk and living your life to the fullest and pursuing the fullest expression of yourself, whatever that may be. And for me, a part of that includes being my own boss, being an entrepreneur, having a creative career. And so I'm going to try to start to ease our way out of like the pitfalls or the downside, the struggle aspect of it all. I think I've shared enough gritty details with you on that. And I'm going to try to give you a little more of an uplifting story today. I don't know if it's necessarily uplifting, but hopefully it will kind of motivate you nonetheless to get out of your comfort zone. So during my spiral, when I was really taken off guard, I had just purchased my dream house on the lake, but leading up to that purchase was this period of about 2.5 years where I knew my business was doing well enough that I could easily make something like this happen. But there was an internal dialogue of doubt, of questioning, could I trust myself to take on financial pressure of that nature? You know, the house we're in now, it costs about 4 times the price of the home that we were living in and where my blog got its start. And after doing tons of self-work, regulating my nervous system, looking back at all the times that I I was victorious over any challenge that came my way. And then obviously after just running my numbers and my projected revenue for the next year, I was like, yeah, like up and up only. And I took that leap of faith and did it. And then 2 months into living in my lake house, I was hit by a Pinterest algorithm that I've talked about many a times, and I lost about 40% of my revenue. And it was terrifying. It put me in total fight or flight, freeze and fawn. After the fight or flight, I just felt frozen. I didn't know how to get out of it. And then the shame came on of who did you think you were to do that? How irresponsible of you. So when it started to get like really scary, after being in this situation for months and not exactly sure how to turn it around, there came this very valid concern. Oh shit, like we may have to sell this house. And after months and months of trying to get my kids acclimated to their new school, and I was finally getting them in the groove of a new school, this fear of like, oh, you're a horrible mother to uproot your children from a school that they had known for years and were comfortable at, had friends, and then uproot them. And now you're probably going to have to do that again if your business doesn't turn around really soon. Oh, the shame just amplified the whole stress and pressure of the situation. And I knew better. I knew from all of the self-help that shaming myself was useless. And if anything, it was just more destructive. So luckily, it was really strange. I woke up one morning after thinking like, why do you keep beating yourself in the ground? Even though you know this isn't doing you any good, it's making everything like a million times worse. But it's that mom guilt. And I'm sure if you're a mom, you know how it is. And it was this moment in meditation where this quote came. I'd already known the quote. I'd heard it like probably years before, but for some reason I'd forgotten about it. And then it was like fragments of the quote came into my awareness. So then I'm like, shoot, I know like a few words to the quote. Let me Google it. And then the quote came up and I was like, hell yeah, baby. This is such a reminder of who I am, what I'm about, and what I came to do. And just the energy of who I was before life threw me some curveballs, before I lost my mojo. And so today I wanted to share that with you. Because regardless of if, you're in a business and you're having a rough year, or if you're thinking about starting one, but you're so afraid to take a risk, you feel like you can't trust yourself, or maybe you're just in a rebirth right now, just a rebirth of your life where you are unsure of yourself because you're new at something. Your life in general is uncertain and you're not sure how things are going to pan out yet. You have this choice to contract and become fearful, or you have a choice to lean into it, to lean in and trust and know that this is exactly what your soul needs, because your soul knows you'll be okay, knows that you are infinite, but your ego is the one that gets freaked out and tries to keep you small and safe and stuck. So I hope this little quote helps you, because it's exactly what I needed that day to really get me back into the right state of mind and the right vibration, and ultimately help me remember the vision. So you probably, if you've heard this, I am so sorry I couldn't like razzle dazzle you today, but it may just be a good reminder. And that little quote is, a ship in harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. A ship in harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. And that quote is said to have come from John A. Shedd, but there's a little bit of argument of maybe that came from actually Albert Einstein, and then there was one other name. So forgive me if that attribution is not accurate, but nonetheless, when I read that quote that morning, something clicked in me, and I was able to tap back into what I had decided for myself before shit had hit the fan. And that was, yes, I had the option to stay safe and play small and be okay with the what if, or I could actually be the woman who I wanted to be and actually go for the things in life that I wanted and not let fear stand in the way, because I had connected with my soul enough to know that is not why I incarnated on this planet, not to be safe. I came here to grow. I came here to step into the fullness of who I know I am and what delights me. And I know you too. If you're listening to this episode, you are right there with me, baby. And whether you are already a business owner or you are just considering working for yourself, doing what you love, it is risky. There will be risks. You will have to have courage to walk through the uncertainty because we don't have a crystal ball. There's no way to know how everything will pan out. There's no way. I mean, shit, even after running numbers and metrics on my business, and I had years and years of data, and I thought, oh, well, I'm being smart here. Like, this is nothing. I was still proven wrong. I still had a crazy ass unpredictable year. And it's so futile. And so if you're listening to this message right now, if this came into your field of awareness and it's resonating with you, I know you are not the type of woman that's going to be happy or freaking satisfied staying in your safe little box and doing what everybody else does. That will eat away at you slowly over time. And I think one of the worst things in life would be to get to the end of it and regret not taking the risk, not betting on yourself. That whole what if to me is a whole lot scarier than any sort of temporary failure or even scrutiny from others, judgment. No, fuck it. This is your life. No one can tell you what's best for you but you. And there's no way of avoiding the unknown. Even if you decide to stay in a box and do the 9 to 5, you could fucking be laid off the next day. So come on, you might as well just be who you want to be, do what you want to do, live how you want to live. And one more thing I'll say is so many people want that entrepreneurial life, and the ones that aren't in it say, well, must be nice. You know, you've got this freedom. You don't have to answer to anybody. And yes, hell yeah, that is so true. It is nice. It is nice making your own schedule. It's nice to be able to just take a day off and not have to get it approved by HR. Oh yeah, that's awesome. But it requires a very strong nervous system, because with all those positives, there is pressure because it's all on you. It is all up to you. You got to figure it out yourself. And I'm thrilled to announce that I have gotten to a better place in my business, and I'm seeing beautiful growth again. And I know a year or 2 years from now, I'll be able to look back, and that will be one more thing I can write in my journal when I'm in the process of up-leveling again and doubting myself, because every time we come up against that new edge, that self-doubt's going to rear its ugly head. But that will be one more example of how I was victorious. And so give yourself the benefit of a doubt and continue to put yourself in situations that may not be comfortable, but on the other side you'll make it. And if it doesn't fully pan out the way you want, at least you gained experience and confidence through it. That's the only way you're going to ever acquire confidence in yourself, is by actually doing the thing and taking the risk. So I want you to go for it. Don't listen to anybody else, okay? Continue to carve out time with yourself and listen to your soul. And with all that being said, I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for stopping by this week. I make no money from this show. Actually, it costs me money to produce and host. So the best way you can show your support for this passion project of mine is by leaving the show a 5-star written review on Apple. Also, if you would like to contribute monetarily to the show, you can leave a tip in my digital tip jar, which I have the link in the show notes. You can always share it with a friend who you think could benefit from the message, or even better, you can take a screenshot of this episode, upload it to your Insta stories, and tag me in it at Designing Vibes. Sending you my love.